Hi everyone, and today I'm going to be doing some more 5x5 example solves with the Hoya method. As usual, these are all hand scrambles. In this video I'm just going to be doing cross edges and I'm going to be solving on white only. So here we go, this is the first position and I can see straight away we've got the green midge in the back and then the two wings are here and here. And this is quite a nice case. We can set up quite easily to 3R wide U2 3R wide prime. As you can see, we've got the midge that's oriented, and this wing we can set it up to be opposite and misoriented in one move. That unsolves this, so just move it to the side like that, and now we're set up for the trigger. I can see that's made this blue block. I can't actually see the other blue piece at the minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this in DF and I'm going to do a U2 and a B2 to do that, because I know that there was nothing else. As you can see, this is not a cross piece, so I know that's not a blind spot I have to worry about anymore. And I did actually see this down here as well, this orange. So I'm going to do that next. And the other orange piece is back here. This is just a 5 mover. So I'm going to set it up to the 3 mover there. And actually, as I'm doing that, I can see this blue piece here. And normally, if there was a solved edge back here, then I would do like a U move or something before I undid this move so that it didn't get stuck in a back slot. However, because I know that there's nothing here, because, you know, we've got orange on the front and we haven't done red yet, what I will do, this is going to be oriented in a back slot. So just with one B move, I can bring it to the U layer and it's going to be misoriented. So I'll be tracking this, and as I undo the setup move, I'm going to do a B prime like that to bring it to the U layer. So then I can put blue on the front and just insert this nicely in 3 moves. And now we're at our last cross edge, and as you can see, we've got one piece solved already, which is really nice. The other pieces are here and here. And again, as you can see, we've already got our midge oriented, which is nice, and our other wing is misoriented, which is also nice. So this will be a setup to 3R wide U2 3R wide prime again. And this is not the nicest of the cases to execute. It's quite intuitive, but it's a little bit annoying to execute sometimes, because we've got the 2 pieces in directly, like, diagonal opposite slots. So we are going to have to use R and L moves to set these up. But it shouldn't be too bad. And the way I found that I prefer doing this, because we're going to be using the R slice, we're going to set up the piece in the left hand slot first, which is the midge. So I'm going to do an L, and now I'm just going to treat these 2 pieces as if they were this case. I will do 3 moves to set them opposite each other, and then the trigger, and then finally I'll undo this L move as my last move. Okay, up next we've got this, and straight away I can see a lot of pieces. The only colour I can see 3 of immediately is blue. We've got one piece here, and then this piece in the back. So I'm going to do those first. And I can see straight away we've got one misoriented piece, which is a wing, so that's nice. We've got the oriented midge here, and the other wing here is also oriented. And so there's a couple of ways I could do this. I could do something like solving a wing and then setting up to 3R wide U2 3R wide prime, or I could just insert all of the pieces separately. So I'll show you both ways. So starting off, I can see that we've got our oriented wing here, so I'm going to want to solve that first. So I would do that instead of an F2, because that's a bit awkward to do. I would do an R2 and then a D move. And then we have this case, which, you know, you can set up even from this angle. If we got it from this angle, you'd want to set it up like this, and then insert it like that. But what I think I would probably do instead for this case is just insert the midge first, because these 2 pieces, the 2 wings relative to each other, are in a really, really nice position. Because once we insert this in 3 moves, then this piece is going to get misoriented, and then it's also going to become a 3 mover. So that's really nice, and I'd probably do that. So again, I'm not going to do an F2 here because it's a bit of an awkward finger trick, so I'm going to do an L2 and then a D to bring it to the front, and then I'm going to insert this piece into the left. That's going to flip this piece like that, and then I'm going to insert that on the right in the same way. Okay, so next up, I can see a couple of red pieces, and again I can see that currently we've got both of them oriented, and we want to keep the midge oriented if possible, because then we can probably set up to 3R wide U2 3R wide prime. So I'm going to bring that to the front straight away, because that's, you know, that's where it's going to eventually need to go. I can see that red is not in the correct position relative to blue, so I'm going to do a D2 and then solve this piece, bring it back to the front. And the other red piece is in the back here. And again, because I know that we've got nothing solved in the back here, you can just do one move, in this case a B, to set up to 3L wide prime, U2, 3L wide, just like that. Next thing I saw was these two pieces. We've got one green and one orange in the same slot, and I know we've got red on the front, so green's going to need to go in this slot. And there's a green piece here actually, so I'm definitely going to do green next. I'm just going to do an R2, solve them like that, bring it to the front. And then the other piece is back here, and it's stuck in a back slot. There's not a amazing way to solve it. And I can see this piece is already set up in just 3 moves, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then tackle this piece separately with the R wide 2 trick, in this case L wide 2, solve it like that in just 5 moves. I was tracking this piece the whole time, so I'm going to bring it across. This slot now in the front, when I insert this piece down to here, this midge is going to move to here and it's going to be oriented again, which is really nice. And then I can see that this piece is our last piece over here. Now we've got a really nice 2-gen setup to 3R wide U2, 3R wide prime. Okay, third one. Straight away I can see this green block down here. I can't see the other piece, so what I'd be really tempted to do, instead of just flipping it like this, which doesn't really affect any of my blind spots, what I would probably do is do a D move in the middle of that, just in case. And actually this has helped a lot because I can see now this other piece is here. And part of the benefit of doing just the L prime move first is that this is in position to be a 3 mover. So it's going to be a really nice insertion. It's either going to be 1 move or we can do it as a 3 mover, whatever happens. And in this case, we've got a 3 mover. So I'm just going to insert it like that. I can see a couple of things. I can see these 2 red pieces and I can see orange. And we've got these 2 pieces down here. I probably would go with orange first, just because when we solve these pieces are going to end up in the top layer, which is, quite good. And also because I saw these 2 orange pieces while I was doing the green edge. I was tracking them. So we'll go to orange next. And the way that I would solve this case is I would pair the midge and the wing in the U layer with something like this, and to flip them so now they're misoriented, so they're just 4 moves away from being solved like that. And I would attract that those 2 pieces just got split up with that last move. So what I'm going to do red next. And I saw this cross edge here, so I will probably just solve this one first, because the other 2 are in the top layer, so they're already in really good positions. And again, from this angle, instead of doing a U2 first to put the midge in front, which is what the cases in my last cross edge document look like, then you'd still have to do 4 moves to set up to, in this case, 3L wide prime, U2, 3L wide. However, if we go back to the original angle, we can actually just do 4 moves from this angle and not have to do a U2 at all. And also, we can make these righty moves as well. If that's something that you prefer, if you're not as good at lefty moves, then look out for ways where you don't always have to do a left trigger to set up to this. You can do right triggers as well, depending on what angle you get them from. So in this case, we're going to hide this piece and move the midge opposite to it, like that. And now we're set up for 3L wide prime, U2, 3L wide. As I was doing that, I was tracking this piece, which I know is going to end up down here, and this is not in a 3 mover position. So I'm going to want to go ahead and solve that piece first as my first piece. We've got this piece here, and then we've got this stuck in a back slot. And this case is quite interesting. There's a couple of different ways to do it. I could just insert both pieces separately, but this case going to here is a bit awkward, and I'm not a massive fan of it. And something that I found that I actually prefer the execution of is I'm going to pair these 2 pieces in the U layer and then use the D move trigger, the DR D prime trigger, to solve this piece first and then insert these 2 as a block. So what I mean by that, I'm going to pair these up in the U layer and I'm going to put them off to this side so that, as you can see, they're just 3 moves away from being inserted down to here. And then I'm going to do the trigger to solve this piece. So it goes D, R, D prime, just like that. Nothing else is affected, and then we can just insert these in 3 moves, just like that. Okay, next up, again, I can see a fair few pieces. I can see all of the greens. We've got this one, and this one. So I probably will go with green first. And what I'd be tempted to do here, because these 2 are already in quite a nice position, I'd want to solve this one first. And again, instead of doing a B2 or an F2, because we've got no solved pieces at the minute, we've got a lot of freedom. So what I'm going to do, because to insert these 2 pieces first, you want to just insert the midge first and then this is still a 3 mover at the end. And I know for that I want the midge to be over here. So to just bring these to close to the right position, I'm going to do this piece with U prime and then L2 and then a D to bring it to the front. Then I've just got this piece and this piece, which are just standard insertions like that, really efficient. And now I can see all of the red pieces, and I can see a nice way to solve them. This is not in the right slot relative to green, but what I can do is I can do an R move to bring it up, and then a D to move this out of the way, and an F to solve it. And when I solve it, this is going to become misoriented, and as we can see, the midge is oriented, which is nice, which means I've got a nice setup. When I've done that, I can just do R, U to R prime, and now we are set up, in this case, to the 3 move insertion. Now, next I can see obviously these two pieces, both from different edges but in the same slot. And the other thing I see is this orange piece. And probably I'm going to want to do orange because I can see enough of the pieces. And this is not the correct slot for orange. And if I were to just do something like LB, then that doesn't change these two pieces at all. And I want to try and flip these if I can, because misoriented wings are always nicer than oriented wings. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these two opposite each other like this, because then I know that when I solve this piece, this is going to end up in the U layer and it's going to be misoriented, which is what I want. And again, instead of just doing an L2, because that puts this orange incorrect relative to the red, I'm going to do L prime, D, L prime, just like that. And then another D to bring it to the front. And the last orange piece is here, and the midge is oriented, which is good. Again, just take it out like that. Nice, easy setup to the 3 move insertion. Now for our last edge, we've got all of the pieces in the U layer, which is quite nice. And they're all misoriented. So I'm probably not going to overthink this. I'm just going to insert them one at a time in 3 or 4 moves each. So I'm going to do this one first, because as I can see, that will leave this set up in 3 moves, and in turn that will leave this set up in exactly 3 moves. So I'm going to insert this one just with outer layer moves, then insert this with the wide moves like that, and then this one as a 3 mover as well. Okay, last one for this video. Straight away I can see this case, and this case normally you would think is probably not a very good case. You know, taking this midge out with M slices and then reinserting it, it uses a lot of moves and it's quite easy to mess up. But there's a really nice way that we can do this. And what we want is for these pieces to be in the back in UB, and we want our midge to be oriented and our wings to be misoriented. And so we can set that up in 2 moves really nicely. We can do R prime B, and that's set up here exactly where we want it. And now all we can do to solve this, these 3 pieces, we can solve them in 5 moves with R wide, U2, R wide 2, F2, R wide, just like that. So that's really nice. And it's nice to get a case like that out of the way soon. So the next thing I see is probably going to be blue. I can see this piece and this piece and this piece, and none of them are solved correctly relative to green where they need to be. But I can very easily solve one of them. This I'll choose the wing because it's generally nicer to have wing solved cases than midge solved cases. And as we can see, this midge is oriented and this wing is misoriented, so we can set them up in the U layer quite nicely for 3R wide U2, 3R wide prime. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to bring this piece up. It needs to be opposite the midge, so I'm going to do a U2 and then bring the midge up just like that, and then I'll align them so we've got the midge at the front. Then this piece I can put relative to green by doing this, bring this to the front, and then solve all 3 pieces together. Next up, I would probably do red, and the way I would do this, because I can see these 2 pieces together, I'm going to solve this piece, but again, instead of doing something like D prime F2, I'm just going to do U prime R2 D prime. And that is 1 move longer, but it avoids the F2, and so I think that's worth it. Then our last piece is back here. I know we haven't solved orange yet, so we can just do 1 move to set it up to 3R wide U2, 3R wide prime. Now I can see these 2 pieces here. I can't see the other one. It might be in DF, so I'm just going to do a D2 first to see, and it is. And so what I would do here, again, because both the wings are misoriented, they're already going to be quite nice cases. So I think I'll solve the midge first in this scenario. And again, instead of doing something like U prime F2, which is a little bit awkward to do. I'm going to do an L2 instead. So I'm going to do D prime, L2, D. And then that's left this case, which is not a bad case at all. And I'm going to just slice this wing in, and that's going to leave this as a 3 mover. So slice move up like that. It's very important not to do wide moves there because that will put this wing down here, and that's then a worse case. And so then we can just insert that in 3 moves and we're done. So there you are, guys. Hope that helped. Hope you learned something. I don't feel like I did too much fancy stuff in this video, so hopefully that shows you that you can do relatively simple solutions. You can set up to a lot of really nice tricks quite often. Yeah, I hope this helps, and thanks a lot for watching.